after the Viva-Voce. So with this, we begin the online Ph.D Viva-Voce. I would ask now, मैम, आपसे मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगी, आग्रह करूँगी कि आप शुरू करें सवाल करना, जिसका कि जवाब स्कॉलर मिस निखत परवीन देंगी. ओवर टू यू.
थैंक यू सीमा जी. मुझे मैडम आदिति भी दिख रही हैं, उन्हें भी नमस्कार है. प्रोफेसर सीमा मैडम, हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल साइंस, other respected faculty members, research scholars, and all other members, Nikhat Parween. मैं आप सभी को अपना नमस्कार करती हूँ और मैं निखत परवीन, जो आज की हमारी शोधार्थी हैं और जिनके कारण आप और हम यहाँ पर आज ऑनलाइन मोड से मिल रहे हैं, तो सबसे पहले मैं निखत से चाहूंगी कि वे अपना जो रिसर्च उन्होंने किया है उसके बारे में संक्षिप्त रूप से बताएं. प्लीज समराइज योर रिसर्च वर्क. निखत, एक समरी दें आप अपनी कि क्या टॉपिक है आपका, कैसे आपने काम किया.
निखत, आवाज मिल रही है? निखत, लिखो जरा सा. प्रॉब्लम है मैम. तब तक मैं चाहूंगी कि आपको कुछ परिचय कराऊं हमारे फैकल्टी मेंबर्स से. अभी दिख रहे हैं प्रोफेसर राकेश रंजन, जो विभाग में यहाँ है, हमारे साथ काम करते हैं. और हैं प्रोफेसर पुष्पलता, जो यहाँ मगध महिला कॉलेज में कार्यरत हैं.
गुड आफ्टरनून मैम.
और अदिति से तो आपकी मुलाकात हो गई है. के अलावा शिफाली भी थी, जो फॉर्मर हेड है डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल साइंस की. हाँ, तब तक इस समय पे हम लोग ने परिचय में के लिए इस्तेमाल किया है. जब तक
नमस्कार मैम, शिफाली.
तो ये ऑनलाइन मोड की कुछ दिक्कतें हैं जो कभी बीच में अड़चने आ जाती हैं, जिसके कारण थोड़ी परेशानी होती है. उसको वे लोग सॉर्ट आउट कर रहे हैं. तब तक मैं बताऊं मैम कि ये रिसर्च स्कॉलर जो है काफी कमिटेड है. बहुत मेहनत से इन्होंने इसमें काम किया है और इसकी ड्राफ्टिंग भी बहुत अच्छी है.
इको कर रहा है आपका जो साउंड है, इको कर रहा है.
ये लोग नहीं, मैं कह रही हूँ ये पकड़ा हुआ है ना, कई बार दूसरी तरह से लेते हैं.
निखत, आवाज मिल रही है? उसकी आवाज नहीं मिल रही है. निखत की आवाज नहीं मिल रही है.
निखत, दोबारा शेयर करो.
अच्छा, वो स्लाइड
वो स्क्रीन बिहाइंड स्क्रीन दिखाई दे रहा था.
हाँ, स्क्रीन शेयर कर दिया. चलो, तो ये अभी तो स्क्रीन शेयर किया है इसने. तब तक मैं इसे बता दूं, टॉपिक जो थीसिस का है वो है इंडियाज मिलिट्री मॉडर्नाइजेशन सिंस 2014, its implication on a strategic relationship with South Asia and Southeast Asia. This has been submitted under my supervision, Professor Seema Prasad, myself, Professor and Head, Department of Political Science. So I think we have Nikhat on the screen. And Nikhat, is it audible? Can you, can you hear us? You're not
निखत,
audible to
आप
us.
अपने को ऑडिबल
I hope
बनाइए,
you're not.
आप ही को प्रेजेंटेशन
Unmute,
देना है.
unmute yourself.
Hello, ma'am, am I audible?
ऑडियो ऑन है, ऑडियो ऑफ है.
Hello,
Yes, you are audible, Nikhat. Now you can proceed.
ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Nikhat. You can start. Did you listen to the question ma'am has given to you? Briefly put your words about your thesis. Nikhat? Nikhat?
Hello. Yes, Nikhat.
Nikhat, can you come to me or come to some other teacher's department and sit there? I'll go with myself.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Nikhat.
Yes, ma'am, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, can you begin?
Yes, yes.
Yes, you're comfortable now? Yes, you can begin the presentation. चलो.
हम लोगों की आवाज निखत तक जा रही है.
हाँ, शिफाली म्यूट कर लो ना, शिफाली म्यूट करो.
चलो, ओके, डन.
थैंक यू शिफाली, थैंक यू. हाँ, निखत. हाँ.
Good afternoon,
मैम, सवाल तुम्हें पता है?
respected head of the department, teachers, my seniors, and my colleagues. The topic of my thesis is India's military modernization since 2014, its implication on our strategic relationship with South Asia and Southeast Asia. First of all, I would like to explain the concepts of military modernization. First of all, I would like to explain the concept of military modernization. Military modernization means replacement of the existing military technology, redevelopment of the available military forces, and inclusion of the advanced technology. It involves modernization of the military doctrine, modernization in military training, modernization in military leadership, and the revival of military expenditure. In short, we can say that जब एक country अपने available military resources का इस्तेमाल करके अपने existing military infrastructure को develop करता है ताकि military capable हो present security threats से deal करने के लिए and and capable enough to deal with the upcoming future security challenges, तब हम उसे military modernization कहते हैं. Military is a vital institution of a nation. Military is important for the security and survival of a country. In the contemporary period, a country's development not only depends upon its economy or political growth, but also depends how much a country is developed or progress in its military sector. India, according to Global Firepower Index, India ranks 4th in military strength. Geopolitically, India is situated in a region where it faces confrontation from both China and Pakistan. China and Pakistan nexus always impose a threat to India's security. And the recent standoff of India with China near Doklam and Galwan Valley, all these necessitate India to focus on its military modernization. Besides this, India has a territorial dispute with Pakistan over Jammu and Kashmir. India has territorial dispute with China over Aksai Chin region and Arunachal Pradesh. And apart from China-Pakistan threat, India also suffers contemporary threat, which is terrorism and homegrown insurgencies, or we can say that ethnic conflict. These all events necessitate India to focus on its military modernization. The concept of military modernization is not new. US began its military modernization in 1947, UK in 1945, China in 1949, and India began its military modernization after Indo-China War in 1962. However, a paradigm shift has been absorbed in the effort of the newly elected government since 2014. Since 2014, the new government is making every efforts to reform its military through various initiatives like Make in India initiative, establishment of Chief of Defence Staff, privatization, encouragement of promotion of defence export, etc. At the global level, the Indian Ocean is strategically significant for India. However, China, being one of the ancient giant country, has established its hegemonic influence in the Indian Ocean through its expansionist policies like One Belt, One Road, CPEC, and CMEC. In context of this Chinese dream, India, in backdrop of its military modernization, has started to focus in ameliorating its strategic military ties with South Asia and Southeast Asia under neighborhood policy and Act East policy. My thesis is significant from the point of view that it studies India's effort to modernize military since 2014 through various efforts like Make in India initiative, boost to privatization, etc. And further, my thesis focuses how India is trying to consolidate its position in the Indian Ocean by improving its strategic relationship with South Asia and Southeast Asia against the backdrop of its military modernization. To complete my thesis, I referred certain literature, some of which I have mentioned in my presentation. First one is Military History of India, which is a book authored by Uma Prasad Thapliyal. इस किताब में उमा प्रसाद थपलियाल ने भारत के मिलिट्री ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में डिस्कस किया है फ्रॉम ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी टिल 2011. Second book is Defense Modernization and Military Strategy, a book by M.L. Vaidya. In this book, author has emphasized the concept of military modernization in general and also focuses on how the countries like China, USA, Turkey, India is modernizing its military. There is an article by Pankaj Kumar Jha, that is India's defense diplomacy in Southeast Asia, which focuses on how India is using its defense diplomacy to establish its relation with ASEAN countries in consonance with its Lookist policy. My thesis is directed to achieve certain objectives. First one is to study India's effort to modernize its military, to analyze the challenges to military modernization in India, to assess the function and contribution of the Chief of Defence Staff in India's military modernization, to identify India's strategic military ties with South Asia and Southeast Asia, to examine India's strategy to counter the dominance of China in the Indian Ocean through its military modernization. Three hypotheses have been formulated. First one is Make in India initiative has given a boost to India's military modernization. The formation of the Chief of Defence Staff has given new life to India's military reformation by promoting professionalism in the Indian armed forces. India's military capabilities are competent to counter China's expansionist policy in South Asia and Southeast Asian regions for better strategic relations with the South Asian and Southeast Asian regions. I have also formulated certain research questions and the answers of which I tried to find out through my research study. First research question is why military modernization is important for India. Can Make in India scheme build a self-reliant India in the defense sector? Are the DRDO and DPSU capable enough to accelerate India's indigenization effort? What progressive steps India is taking to strengthen its strategic military relationship with South Asia and Southeast Asia? Can India's military capabilities counter the China-Pakistan nexus? To complete my thesis, I employed historical, descriptive, a comparative, and analytical method of study. For information gathering or data collection, I applied both primary and secondary sources. Under primary sources, I access government official sites such as Ministry of Defense, Ministry of External Affairs. And under secondary sources, I access government annual reports, books, journal articles, newspapers, etc. I divided my thesis into 6 chapters. First one is introduction. इस चैप्टर में मैंने अपने थीसिस का एक ओवरव्यू डिस्कस किया है. इसमें मैंने ऑब्जेक्टिव, हाइपोथेसिस, रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस, मेथोडोलॉजी, सिग्निफिकेंस टू द स्टडी एंड लिमिटेशन टू द स्टडी को डिस्कस किया है. चैप्टर 2 है बैकग्राउंड ऑफ इंडियाज मिलिट्री मॉडर्नाइजेशन. इस चैप्टर को मैंने 2 सेक्शंस में डिवाइड किया है. द फर्स्ट सेक्शन covers India's military modernization from the East India Company till 1947, and second section deals with India's military modernization from 1947 till 2013. Chapter 3 is military modernization in India since 2014. इस चैप्टर में मैंने गवर्नमेंट के सारे एफर्ट्स, उनके सारे इनिशिएटिव को डिस्कस किया है which government is taking in direction to military modernization. For example, Make in India initiative, Atmanirbhar in defense production, establishment of chief of defense staff, artificial intelligence, boost to privatization, etc. Chapter 4 is India's strategic military ties with South Asia and Southeast Asia. This chapter mainly focuses on how India's in its backdrop of military modernization is trying to ameliorate its strategic military ties with South Asia and Southeast Asian regions in order to counter China's hegemonic influence in the Indian Ocean. Chapter 5 is India-China military modernization, a comparative analysis. In this chapter, I tried to compare India and China's military modernization from an economic perspective. Chapter 6 is summary, conclusion, findings, and recommendation. This is the final chapter of my thesis, and in this chapter, I mentioned my findings. Further, I pointed out the challenges that are present in the modernization of the military, and also provided recommendation for the same. My research work yielded following results. I had formulated 3 hypotheses, and all the 3 hypotheses got proved during my research work. Pehla hypothesis hai, the Make in India initiative has given a boost to India's military modernization. And yes, this hypothesis has been proved. Since 2014, with the introduction of Make in India, we have seen a significant boost in our military sector. Now, India is focusing on domestically manufacturing numerous missiles, helicopters, military tanks, bulletproof jackets, etc., and is also exporting these missiles and helicopters and arms and ammunition to approx 75 countries. With the introduction of Atmanirbharta in defense sector, we have focused on boosting our defense export. And Make in India के तहत हमें ये देखने को मिलता है कि जो फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2016-2017 में जहां पे हमारा डिफेंस एक्सपोर्ट 1522 करोड़ था, वो बढ़कर 13,800 करोड़ हो गया. And under Make in India initiative, we have manufactured light advanced helicopters like Prachand, K9 Vajra, etc. So yes, Make in India initiative has given a boost to India's military modernization. The second hypothesis was the formation of Chief of Defense Staff has given a new life to India's military reformation by promoting professionalism in the Indian Armed Forces. And this hypothesis also got proved. Yes, Chief of Defense Staff has given new life to India's military modernization. हमने चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ को 2019 में स्टैब्लिश किया और अगर हम कंपेयर करें दूसरे कंट्रीज के साथ तो सिमिलर तरीके के पोस्ट जहां पे यूएसए ने 1983 में ही स्टैब्लिश कर लिया था, चाइना ने 1946 में स्टैब्लिश किया था, जापान ने 1947 में कर लिया था, हमने 2019 में किया। और जहां पे भी चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टैब्लिश हुए हैं वहां के मिलिट्री मॉडर्नाइजेशन मिलिट्री को strengthen करने में चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ ने बहुत ही मदद की है। एंड सिंस वी हैव आल्सो established or created chief of defense staff, since its establishment chief of defense staff has promoted professionalism in the Indian Armed Force by ensuring coordination among the three services of the Indian Armed Forces. It provides centralized military advice on the issues related to national security and nuclear weapons. Further, Chief of Defense Staff has promoted jointness in the operations. Third hypothesis was India's military capabilities are competent to counter China's expansionist policy in South Asia and Southeast Asia for better strategic relations with South Asia and Southeast Asian region. This hypothesis also got proved, and yes, जिस तरीके से भारत अपने मिलिट्री कैपेबिलिटीज को इम्प्रूव कर रहा है, उसे रीस्ट्रक्चर करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, इट इज डेफिनेटली इम्पोजिंग a counter attack to China's expansionist policy. India is not only strengthening its military capabilities domestically but also trying to improve or solidify its position in South Asia and Southeast Asian countries by extending line of credit, by holding regular defense talks, by participating in bilateral, trilateral, multilateral military exercises with the countries of South Asia and Southeast Asian countries. So yes, the way India is progressing in its military field, it has definitely impose or become obstructive to China's expansionist policy in the Indian Ocean. Based on my findings, I made certain recommendations. First one is budget should be allocated to the military sector. More budget, I mean to say that. हमने ये देखा है कि हमारा जो बजट है वो हम काफी कम इन्वेस्ट करते हैं अपने डिफेंस सेक्टर में। अगर हम कंपैरिजन करें अपना डिफेंस बजट विद कंट्रीज लाइक चाइना और अमेरिका, तो जहां चाइना अपने डिफेंस बजट में लगभग $298 बिलियन इन्वेस्ट करता है, जहां अमेरिका लगभग $800 बिलियन इन्वेस्ट करता है, वही हमारा जो डिफेंस बजट है वो 70 to 78 बिलियन डॉलर तक आके सीमित हो जाता है। अगर हम अपने नेशनल लेवल की बात करें तो हाँ, इट इज ट्रू दैट वी हैव प्रोग्रेस्ड, वी हैव इंक्रीज आवर डिफेंस बजट। अगर हम 2014 से देखते हैं अपने डिफेंस बजट को, तो जहां 2014 में हमारा जो डिफेंस बजट था वो 50 बिलियन डॉलर था, वो आज इंक्रीज होके 78 बिलियन डॉलर हो चुका है। बट इफ we want to compete with China, or we want to give a tough competition to China, then we need to increase our defense budget more. Second recommendation is there is a need to fix our GDP in defense sector at 3%. According to Standing Committee on Defense, they had suggested that if India want to strengthen, India want to modernize its military sector, then 3% of GDP should be allocated. अगर हम अपने देश की GDP दूसरे देश के जीडीपी से कंपेयर करते हैं, तो जहां अमेरिका लगभग 3.1% जीडीपी इन्वेस्ट करता है, वहां पे हमारा जीडीपी 1.5% to 2.1% तक आके सीमित हो जाता है। सो इफ यू वांट टू मॉडर्नाइज, इफ यू वांट टू मेक more strong military, then we need to focus on increasing our GDP in the defense sector. Next is artificial intelligence. We are also lacking in development in artificial intelligence. अगर हम चाइना की से कंपेयर करते हैं तो चाइना ने आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस में काफी तरक्की कर ली है। चाइना इन 2015 में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस बेस्ड मिलिट्री फोर्स का गठन किया चाइना ने, जिसको हम स्ट्रैटेजिक सपोर्ट फोर्स के नाम पे जानते हैं। इसके अलावा इन 2017 चाइना ने एक आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस फ्रेमवर्क डॉक्यूमेंट ऑफ फ्रेमवर्क पेश किया, जिसमें उन्होंने बताया कि व्हाट दे आर डूइंग फॉर प्रमोशन ऑफ आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इन डिफेंस सेक्टर। अगर हम अपने देश की बात करें तो वी टिल नाउ वी हैव ओनली मेड AI platforms like artificial intelligence in defense, in artificial intelligence project sector, etc. Beside this, we have made an exoskeleton suit for our Indian forces so that they can patrol in the high altitude smoothly. इसके अलावा हमने आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के तहत एक वॉरडेक AI गेम लॉन्च किया है, जो एक वर्चुअल वॉर गेम दिखाता है, जिसके थ्रू जो हमारे इंडियन आर्म फोर्सेस है वर्चुअली वो ट्रेनिंग ले पाएंगे कि किस तरीके से उन्हें ऑन ग्राउंड फाइट करना है या फिर चाइना को काउंटर करना है। थर्ड रिकमेंडेशन है मेरा टू बूस्ट budget or to give encouragement to research and development in defense sector. अगर हम डिफेंस सेक्टर रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में देखें तो भारत जो GDP इन्वेस्ट करता है वो सिर्फ 0.88% करता है, लेकिन अगर हम कंपेयर करें विथ USA या फिर चाइना, तो चाइना का इन्वेस्टमेंट है लगभग 2.8%, अमेरिका 3.4%, जापान 3.7%, और हमारा जो रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो सिर्फ 0.88% है। तो अगर हमें मिलिट्री को स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाना है, उसे मॉडर्नाइज करना है, तो जरूरी है हमें कि हम अपना रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट पे भी ध्यान दें। बिसाइड दिस, हालांकि मेक इन इंडिया इनिशिएटिव के तहत हमने काफी प्रोग्रेस किया है अपने मिलिट्री सेक्टर में, बट द पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट विल टेक टाइम टू गेट रिफ्लेक्टेड। At last, I would like to conclude my presentation with a note that yes, India since 2014 has made a significant progress in defense sector, in its military modernization. However, if we need to counter China, its influence in the Indian Ocean, and if we need to win trust of South Asian, Southeast Asian country, if India wants to become a global power, then we need to work on the limitations which we are facing or which India has in its military modernization. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Nikhat. The work is presented very well. Congratulations. You and your guide also. I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
During your research, what are two good experiences that highlighted the importance of your research work, Nikhat?
Ma'am, can you pardon, ma'am?
आप अपना ऑडियो बंद कर लीजिए तब जी। During your research, what are two good experiences that highlighted the importance of your research work?
Ma'am, during my research, I found that भारत काफी एक impressive progress कर रहा है अपने military modernization में, and since 2014 we have seen that India at global level, at global politics, is moving from defensive approach to more proactive approach to counter China's hegemonic influence in the Indian Ocean. Before 2014, India used to play a defensive approach, but after 2014, in backdrop of its military modernization, is trying to take more proactive approach.
किसी और ने यदि अपना माइक खोला उसको बंद करा दीजिए। अब बोलिए जी। वेलकम। हाँ, अब बोलिए।
Ma'am, during my research, I found that India is making an impressive progress in its military modernization. Since 2014, at global politics, India is moving from defensive approach to more proactive approach to counter China's hegemonic influence in the Indian Ocean. So during my research, ma'am, I found this very interesting.
Okay, fine. You have faced any difficulties during your
Yes, ma'am.
research work?
Yes, ma'am. Because this is very new topic for me. So material collection was a difficult, a challenge for me, whether it is offline or online. Although there was material available online, but very less material was available in offline mode. So I found difficulty in finding material for my regarding my thesis.
Okay, okay. You have collected your data by qualitative data collection method.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what is qualitative data collection?
Yes, ma'am. In under qualitative data, we try to explain. We give a theoretical framework of what is going in and around us in our research. We give a theoretical framework.
Okay.
We try
Uh,
to analyze the method which we have applied to complete our research work.
you used your primary data or secondary data also?
Yes, ma'am, both, ma'am, both. Because for data related to defense budget, data related to analyze how much defense export has been increased, I have used the primary sources accessed from government official sites.
Okay, okay. Uh, what would you like to say to the research scholars about how they should work on this topic in future?
Ma'am, my thesis is limited. I have not focused on politico-strategic relationship of geopolitical countries of South Asian, Southeast Asian countries. So, ma'am, in near future, the researcher can do research on the politico-strategic relationship of India with the countries of South Asian and Southeast Asian countries. Besides, ma'am, I have only explained in detail the efforts government is taking in direction of military modernization. I have not taken an overview of the issues involved in military modernization. So, ma'am, the upcoming research scholars can also do research in this direction also, ma'am.
Okay, fine, fine. I am satisfied your presentation.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
thank you, head of the department, and your supervisor, and you also. So I recommended that the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Political Science must be awarded to Nikhat Parween.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
So
you.
house is open to all. If you ask any question, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I didn't get it. Ma'am, can you repeat?
Am I audible now?
Yes,
मैम
ma'am.
एक्चुअली योर वॉइस इज echoing. Echo हो रहा है कुछ.
Okay, shall I begin now? Is it better
Yes,
now?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Better,
So,
better.
to put it in short, the China-Pakistan nexus is an absorbing issue in Asia and South Asia and Southeast Asia geostrategic polity. China has taken up some projects in around Indian Ocean in South Asia, which are matter of concern for India on security issues. So can you name some of the projects which China has started?
Ma'am, China is under string of pearls, is trying to establish its hegemonic influence in the Indian Ocean through its One Belt, One Road initiative. It is trying to increase its influence with the countries of South Asia and Southeast Asian countries. It is extending its economy. वो अपने economy through economically वो साउथ एशियन और साउथ ईस्ट एशियन कंट्रीज के साथ अपने रिलेशंस को इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश कर रहा है ताकि वो उन कंट्रीज के यहाँ पे नेवल बेसिस या सबमरीन्स या मैरिटाइम के आसपास अपने सबमरीन्स को पुट कर सके. So ma'am, it is a matter of concern for India because through string of pearls and One Belt One Road initiative, it is trying to counter China, or it is trying to encircle China in the Indian Ocean.
Do we have more questions from the house? Yes. In that case, I have another question for you till they are coming up with their questions. We have certain conditions which are impressing upon India to modernize its military. Now, what are the specific concerns which demand modernization of military in India? What are the causes of military modernization in India? Put it in simple words.
Okay, ma'am. The main concern is the first main concern for India to modernize its military is China-Pakistan nexus, because these two are a very notorious neighborhood of India. They always try to put India's security at stake. And as we know that India has a territorial dispute with Pakistan over Jammu and Kashmir, and it has a territorial dispute with China over Aksai Chin region and Arunachal Pradesh region. And beside this, India faces the challenges of terrorism and various ethnic conflict. So these at international politics, we can see that the China through its expansionist policy is trying to assert its hegemonic influence in the Indian Ocean. So these all are the causes that that necessitated India to modernize its military.
Yes, that was a very precise answer that you gave, Nikhat. Do we have more questions, or we can then go ahead and ask? Yes, please. Yes. Okay,
Mamanik, that was the mirror. That was the mirror. Yeah. No question, I think.
No question from this side? Okay. There's just another curiosity that I have. You talked about modernization of military in India. Now, since you talked about it at length, would just like to have a highlight on what are the landmarks of military modernization in India, since it's not a very familiar topic, not a very researched upon topic. So just highlights.
मैम, सबसे बड़ा लैंडमार्क जो है हम जो 2014 के बाद देख रहे हैं वो है प्राइवेटाइजेशन. The new government under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is focusing more on privatization even in defense sector, and the example of which we can see in the form of privatization of the Ordnance Factory Board, जो पहले 2000 20 से पहले गवर्नमेंट पब्लिक सेक्टर के अंडर में आता था। गवर्नमेंट ने 46 इंडस्ट्रीज ऑफ ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री बोर्ड, उन सारे 46 कंट्रीज को उन्होंने 7 डिफरेंट प्राइवेट सेक्टर के अंडर में डाल दिया। तो दिस इज द मेजर लैंडमार्क दैट वी कैन सी इन इंडियाज मिलिट्री मॉडर्नाइजेशन। सेकेंडली, वी कैन सी दैट कि अंडर मेक इन इंडिया इनिशिएटिव, इंडिया इज इंडिजिनियसली manufacturing the arms ammunition in India, but convincing the countries of South Asian, Southeast Asian countries to import the arms and ammunition from our country. Beside this, ma'am, we have seen an increase in the defense export. As I have mentioned in my presentation, कि जो 1522% पे था, वो increase होके 13,800 करोड़ हो गया मैम। दूसरा चीज मैम, अगर हम प्राइवेटाइजेशन की बात कर रहे हैं तो प्राइवेटाइजेशन का भी परसेंटेज हमें इंक्रीज होते हुए दिखा है। जो 2016-17 फाइनेंशियल ईयर में 16% था, वो इंक्रीज होके 21-22 फाइनेंशियल ईयर में वो 22% हो गया। एंड इन कॉन्ट्रास्ट टू इट, वी हैव सीन डिक्लाइन इन द पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ द पब्लिक सेक्टर इन मिलिट्री मॉडर्नाइजेशन। जैसे कि 75% ऑफ पार्टिसिपेशन था मिलिट्री पब्लिक सेक्टर, जैसे DRDO एंड DPSU इन 2016 एंड 17। 2020 और 22 में हमने उसको घट के 72% पे देखा है। तो मैम, यस, दिस इज द लैंडमार्क which we can see in the military modernization. For me, it is privatization in the defense sector. Now government is encouraging private sector to not only manufacture the spare parts of the defense equipment, but also asking them to play a significant role in manufacturing advanced technologies, in cracking deals with the foreign countries to manufacture defense in India. So yes, ma'am, for me it is privatization.
Thank you, Nikhat. So I'll ask the House again if there are more questions. Otherwise, we'll take permission from Professor Sharma ma'am to congratulate her for the award of PhD degree. Do you have any questions from the House? Okay. So yes, Professor Sharma ma'am.
Okay.
Can we have you on the screen? Yes. We seek your permission.
Okay. Congratulations, madam. Nikhat,
Thank you,
all the best for your future.
Thank you, ma'am.
और सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। थैंक यू।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको मैम। आपने बेटे बहुत सहज से बच्ची को अपने सवाल रखे और जो भी दुविधाएं और अड़चने आई उसको आपने इतने अच्छे ढंग से उससे जूझा, उसको निभाया आपने इस जिम्मेदारी को। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद इसके लिए। एंड प्लीज एक्सक्यूज अस फॉर द ऑब्स्टिकल्स व्हिच केम इन दिस कनेक्टिविटी इशू। आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
रिपोर्ट राइटिंग जल्दी करवा दीजिएगा।
Congratulations, Nikhat. Yes. फिर इसके साथ हम लोग अब इस ऑनलाइन PhD वाइवा को यहाँ समाप्त करते हैं और पुनः उसे बधाई देते हुए निखत को सभी को नमस्कार और धन्यवाद जुड़ने के लिए। थैंक यू मैम।
थैंक यू मैम।
मिलेंगे, आशा करते हैं हम फिर जल्दी मिलेंगे। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू।